Deceitfulness, self doubt, and personal struggle with identity take a prominent role in today's tale. With her success in the J pop group Cham, Mima decides to pursue a career as a full time actress. The events to follow Mima turn bloody as well as psychological warfare being put in the mix with a stalker always at her heels. With her manager assuring she's fine, she begins to lose her grip on reality. Tonight, we get to see the blurred lines of fantasy and reality as we do a discussion of sorts on Satoshi Kon's 1997 psychological thriller, Perfect Blue. This is a Comic Talkers production, and you are listening to a downright bloody and psychologically screwed up edition of Just Four Flicks. What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Patty B. With me, as always, is this guy named Mr. B Dog, Mr. Brandon. Come on down.
Come on down to the butter bomb.
I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad we're kind of talking about a movie that I watched, and let it be on the record before we introduce our guests. I watched this movie when I was 15 years old, fans. 15, 16 years old. So don't judge 15, 16-year-old Brandon. By the way, we are joined by a guest. You have heard him on many episodes of the podcast.
A J4F regular.
A J4F regular, comic talker, anime talker with me. Please welcome back to the podcast, Ty. Ty, how are you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm Ty.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm gonna put that SpongeBob meme. Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, that's exactly what that meant. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, how are you doing?
We definitely had fun watching this together, right, Brandon?
Oh yeah, we did. But before we get into our side of this story, Pat, let's talk about this. Pat, what was your take on this story before we get in?
Just a couple easy takeaways for me. I thought a lot of symbolism. There was a lot of symbolism when it comes to just identity in this movie. Just kind of you see it throughout everything. I liked the color. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the color red seems to be prominent or have some kind of meaning. I feel like I have to watch the movie a few more times to really. This movie is a mind bender and in a good way, but it's short, it's sweet. That's my next easy takeaway for me is that it was a short, easy watch. And it just had a really good ending too. So yeah, I enjoyed the movie all in all. Definitely bloody. This being an anime movie, don't let that steer that it's going to be a kid-friendly environment because I can assure you that it is not a kid-friendly environment. Quite the opposite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you show this to your kid, something's wrong with you. I'm
yeah.
like I said, 16 years old, so I don't even know how my friends' parents let us get watching this. But we did.
Whatever. I seen Ninja Scroll when I was like 5, all right? That had nudity in it. Let it go.
Let it go. But let's go into some of the trivia too behind this before we get into it.
I think say no trivia.
No trivia
Oh,
question.
don't say the T word around Ty, dude. He's gonna get fucking nervous.
And this is by far, I know we joked about it in a couple episodes in the past. This is our shortest movie I think we've covered other than Toy Story. This is an hour and 21 minutes. It's not very long. It felt longer, but I think it's because Ty and I kept on pausing the movie every so often. It
I had my reasons.
I have my reasons. But let's talk about it, you guys. The budget for the 3 million yen. How much US dollars do you think that is?
How
Three,
many US dollars do I think that is?
yeah, 3 million yen.
3 million yen.
Yeah. How
Less
much do you
like
think
less than
that
a
is?
mil.
Hold on, give me like 2 seconds so I can type up my
It's
inflation calculator.
like less than a mil, right?
It's less than a mil.
That's
Yeah, see?
that's
It's
like
less than
got
a
to be
mil.
like $600,000.
Less than that, actually.
Damn, $400,000.
Less.
Two hundred and fifty
200?
Try
thousand.
5 digits.
Jesus, what? 50 grand?
Less than that.
No fucking way.
10 grand?
You're closer. Go a little higher.
11?
Go like 9 more higher than that.
19?
20. 20. About 21,000.
Serious? You're saying that this movie was made for the price of a Toyota Camry?
21,000. This is what it's converted to. $21,838.11. And yes,
Yeah,
I have the Google up here right now giving me that price. And
gentlemen, we could have funded this movie.
yeah, like
I
let's
don't want to fund
go
no
right
movies.
there
I'm
too,
poor.
fans. It says it right there. Actually, wait a minute. Right there, 3 million yen. Convert it to that. Now, what they got at the box office worldwide was $563,130. So it was a profit for sure. But yeah, so synopsis really quickly of this too. A pop singer gives up her career to become an actress, but she slowly goes insane when she starts being stalked by an obsessed fan and what seems to be a ghost of her past. Uh, Now, let's go into this a little bit more. Ty and I had a pretty fun experience watching this movie again. We could not get through the first 10 minutes.
Well, again, it was actually my
Good
first time.
reasons.
My first time. But your second time?
Let's talk about how much you had an eye fetish through this whole movie.
Hold on. You can't be blaming me. I got eye fetish while you have a lip fetish.
What do you mean you have
Uh,
an eye fetish? You can even have a fucking eye fetish. What is a
so
fetish?
so some of the characters, right? If you notice, their eyes were like slightly far apart. And I
Okay.
was showing Brandon the Little Mermaid meme, but people that did to her eyes, make it far apart.
And it was Spider-Man with his webs and Spider-Man 2 trying to stop the train, trying to bring him back.
No,
The,
that's
the,
funny.
the first 2 minutes, there was a scene where these three guys were talking, and I noticed one of their faces was a little like mushy, and I was like, Brandon, what is this? What is this? And he's like, look at the lips on that.
Brandon, my thing is with the mouths is in animation, sometimes they can get a little annoying. If you hear us talk about in DCAU talkers as the episode, the last or the laughing joke or the last laugh gets me every time because they just do close-ups on lips. And I hate that. This movie, there was times where they were even talking and it was like, and they're just doing like full sentences. And it's just like, okay, this is getting a little annoying. Like,
Like deliberate almost.
yeah, like I get.
21,000.
I think the first good scene I saw.
21,000. Man's got a point
21,000.
there, though. Dude, like, how much effort are you gonna put in for this kind of budget?
Yeah,
We got
well,
a minimalist right here.
we got one good sign from Ty within the first 10 minutes, though. Okay, he was even getting freaked out by the stalker and the way he looked. Okay, but the one scene he praises is when he has his hands like this, and all you see is just her in the middle, where he's just sitting like this, and it's just like his view.
Hmm.
He actually praised that. And I it's like, yeah, that's a good shot. That was a good way to do it. But yeah, the way they drew the stalker was so creepy. And granted, you gave it that vibe that it needed.
Yeah.
But God, I
Hey,
was
can we talk about that scene you're talking about, right?
the
How I call him a voluntary security guard, and he got his butt kicked by those three guys, and none of the other security guard came to help him.
yeah, he was getting what was it? Even they were even had him in holds ready to beat
I
him.
know
It's like they were all just like, he's there. Like
he's there, he's fine.
he's there, he's got this. But that but like let's talk go into a little bit more. Okay. What was your okay? You heard us kind of talk like the stalker, like we said, and I can't remember names, so don't get me
They
wrong.
they barely said any names, so I don't blame you for not
Yeah,
knowing names.
even no, even like online, like trying to look up this. I mean, it was very, very vague. Like it really only gave me like the main character's name and like the manager's name.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really, yeah.
I think his name is Momoru, but again, I've heard Mima or Mania. I've heard a lot of things. But anyway, the way they design him is so creepy. His smile is one of the biggest things to me that just goes ugh. Like it just creeps me out every time I see it. Every time I even watch the trailer for this, it brings me that uneasiness vibe. Pat, let's go to you. What was your take on the Stalker?
You're right. I mean, they kind of did, like you said, they set an expectation toward like, okay, yeah, this is what this character's job is. I mean, he's the stalker, and I think the appearance of the stalker was I loved it. I think it's what gives the movie kind of like that psychological element, right? That's what the main battle of it is between the stalker and the main character. Again, is it Mima, right?
Yeah, me.
Mima, so yeah.
Mima, yeah. So, no, I like the element of it. I mean, you see it in a lot of movies like this, especially like, non-animated movies. There's always that they did a really good job with movies like that in the 90s that had like stalkers or that element of psychological warfare in a film, where the main antagonist is a stalker. No, it's I'm watching this as we're recording, and I keep seeing the eyes now, and you guys are really fucking freaking me out.
Okay, go like around 158. You'll see the three guys and
God,
the
you even
what?
remember the times.
Yeah, because we
Wait,
kept pausing
you
at
wait, the
two
time
minutes.
the time is at minute 50?
It's around 1 minute 50. Yeah, you see the three guys and the one in the middle. His face is like kind of mushy.
Yeah. Well, like even the dude that's sitting up, like that was the scene I was telling you. Like the dude's mouth moving, it was like, I'm like, bro, that's so lazy. Like I'm just sitting there looking.
21,000s. I
Yeah, 20.
mean, they made their money worth. Come on, 5 million. Come on, that's that's
Did
money right there.
I didn't look it up, or I didn't have it in my notes here, but do you know how long approximately it took for them to get everything done on this, like artwork wise?
That I
Or do you
don't
think
know.
this would have been like a long project? I mean, I just
Well,
for the amount of money it's done for, it
well,
just kind
here's
of
so
blows
here's
my mind.
here's one of the unique parts of this. Now, I was looking this up while I was kind of reading on this a little bit more. This actually was not intended to be an anime film.
Yeah.
It was actually intended to be live action.
I could totally see that. And that's what that kind of alludes to what I was just talking about with it had that. I know this movie was made in the 90s, but around this time, like a lot of movies that were actually like, a lot of live action movies around this time, like Hollywood pictures, it had that element of, psychological, a lot of twists and turns in movies. Remember the movie Double Jeopardy with Ashley Judd? That's kind of what this movie, not entirely reminded me of, but it kind of had that feel to it. What were those movies with Morgan Freeman that were based off the books?
Like Along Came a Spider,
Yep,
things
yep,
like that.
yep, yep. So
I know exactly which ones you're talking. I don't know all of them, but I know that one.
yeah, but
With
no,
him,
Along Came a Spider is a big one.
yeah, him and Ashley Judd are in that one. I remember that one.
Actually, Judd had a lot of bangers around that
Yeah.
time.
But yeah, after Time to Kill, she was making a lot of movies during that time. But yeah, let's like this was actually like we said. I was reading this on IMDb. The film was originally conceived to be a live action film, but because it was made into an anime because several backers abruptly just said pulled out. They were just done with it. Which let me ask you this time, we'll kind of go in Pat. Pat kind of already mentioned like he could see this. Do you actually see this being more live action, or are you glad they went with the anime side?
Oh, it was definitely funnier with the anime side.
Yeah, you can't get eyeballs like that in a live action, can you?
No, okay, so the end scene, right, where she's being chased by her imaginary, well, spoilers alert for anybody who hasn't watched the movie
We
yet,
got that
spoils,
years, yeah.
huh? Well, just in case, a lot of people like me who haven't seen it, that was first time. She's being chased by her imaginary imagination, which was her manager or assistant,
It was her
whatever,
manager.
manager, right? And it got to the mirror part where it actually shows her manager actually running, and I know that's supposed to be a scary part, but I laughed so hard. I think I ruined that part for Brandon because he started laughing too.
Actually rewind it just to see it again. You put me through hell during that scene.
Listen, listen. you know that well that shit was fuck. I mean, it was freaking hilarious, right? I rewinded that scene, and Brandon laughed twice as hard.
It was the way you did it. You were like, "Oh, I gotta see this again." And all of a sudden, I'm looking at it, and you just see the reflection. I was sitting there, it's like, I hate you, Ty.
It's definitely way better animated because there's so many scenes in there. I just laughed at. I know it's supposed to be a scary thriller movie, but it was just so funny. I ruined it and made it to a comedy.
God.
Well,
But
Oh man.
like even then, like this is now for us to make fun of it, but yeah, it's gotten so much praise, speaks volumes.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
talk
right.
about this a little bit. The famous bath scene, which we all know, the scene where she's sitting there and she's screaming underneath the water, or like her face is under the water screaming. That actually was done in Requiem of a Dream, and they actually took inspiration from that.
yeah.
They even stated, I was reading here too, even Madonna, pop legend herself, used extensive selections from this film as a backdrop animation during the dance interlude of her Drowned World tour.
For all those Madonna fans, this one's for you.
This
Uh,
one.
and I've never seen the movie, but I heard there was a lot of similarities to the movie Black Swan, which I know got a lot of awards.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, I didn't put
Yeah.
it together, but I see that because that's by far one of my favorite Natalie Portman performances. Period.
Hmm.
I think she is fantastic in that movie,
He loved it.
and it's I can see where that comes from because she's going to do whatever it takes to get to that point, to get to be the lead role. And that's exactly what Mima does through this whole film. She goes to from singer to an actress on a soap opera, but she even takes it to another level that might feel uncomfortable at points just to get to that next level. But in reality, it's caused a lot of psychological damage. And there are a lot of fans are causing it, including the stalker. The stalker is the one that's going out there and putting stuff out there on her fan page and bringing up lies that she's doing this. And then he kind of gets that stalkering feeling like he's watching her. He's doing this. He has control on all this. Like the scene that, and I want to see what the going back to the stalker here. The one of the scenes that always gets me like, oh shit, kind of thing is the scene when he's looking at the computer and all the pictures are around with her, and they all look at him say the same thing. That is the freakiest thing I have ever seen in an anime film. Period. Just see that's. I'm not saying there's other scenes, but that's one of them that goes, oh shit, that made me feel really uncomfortable because he's willing to do anything to get back who Mima was.
Mhm.
And I think it's like we said, it's her going for that next part of her life, but in reality, there's going to be people who are going to hate her for that. And it's actually like a double thing for her. It could be psychological one way, it could be psychological the other way. So it's really I told Ty when we were watching, I was like, bro, some of this stuff is so weird to me.
Yeah, and I ruined it.
Well, it's not so much you ruined it. It made it fun. You made me laugh. Like it made me kind of laugh at points. And even in the middle, you're like, what are you making me watch? I'm like, bro, don't judge 15-year-old, 16-year-old Brandon.
So the one thing I like about the movie, right, is like they give your attention to the stalker.
Yeah.
And so Pat, did you think the stalker was the main villain the whole time?
It definitely makes it feel that way. I will say, yeah, from like as I watched it going into it, yeah, that's what my perception was at first. I mean, until we get towards the end and everything, but like, yeah, no, it seemed like the main antagonist when I was watching it, you know?
So when we were watching it, I think it was like 10 minutes, like it took us like 30 minutes just to get to
Like,
10 minutes of it. And I was like to Brandon, like, imagine if it was the manager. And Brandon kind of said it like, yeah, it's her. I thought he was joking. Till we got to the end, I was like, oh well, I guess you were telling the truth.
I spoiled the movie without realizing I spoiled the movie.
Like, did you know you gave me the answer, or you just like,
I didn't realize. I was just kind of. I
Did you
think I
have
was playing.
a did you have a Sam Eagle moment?
Yeah. Oh no, Sam Eagle for you is like that's not even compared to that. You were like, he looks like a bird. Well, an eagle is a bird. That wasn't even close to that, buddy.
Kind of similar.
But I think, well, here's another thing I want to pitch to you guys. This gave me rewatching it again, gave me Alfred Hitchcock vibes.
Yeah, it's funny is when I was looking up like, just what I did with this going into it was after I watched it, I kind of wanted to see other people's opinions. So I went on like Reddit and a couple Reddit threads and stuff. And someone had brought up the whole Hitchcock thing, and I didn't think about it until I read it. But yeah, you definitely do get some Hitchcock vibes from it, for sure. A lot of eeriness in this movie.
Well,
A
it's
lot.
just well, like one of the big ones to me that I think of right away is Psycho. When you really look into, especially with with her manager, the way she is, it's and again, you could say manager, you could just say like she's kind of like her, not her manager, but kind of like her, not even her agent. It's just like somebody like a caretaker for her,
yeah,
like taking care of her and stuff.
the assistant that's always with you.
That or Misery were the two that I came in right in my head that
Mm.
I was like, that that's exactly that relationship right there. One, what Norman Bates, or you could put Kathy Bates' character from Misery in this.
Yeah, dude, the stalker, man.
What do you think? Who would you compare to more, Norman Bates or what's her face from Misery? I
what
can't
is
remember names.
his name's like Annie something.
Annie Wilkes.
Annie Wilkes.
I thank you. I was like, once you give me that first name, I'll get it. But Annie Wilkes or
I
Norman Bates?
feel like I'm getting more psycho vibes just because the way the stalker is, I mean,
And she
very
tries to dress up like her and stuff like that too.
crooked teeth freaks me
Well,
out.
not the stalker. I'm talking her manager now.
Oh, got it, got it, got it.
Are you
Sorry.
calling Annie Wilkes or are you calling Norman Bates?
Yeah, no, I would still say Norman Bates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like I get the obsession with her, and that's where I can kind of see it's kind of like they acted like Annie Wilkes, but in reality, it was Norman Bates situation.
Yeah. Yep.
Because to be totally honest, you get that vibe of the stalker. But at points, I could, and like I said, it's been a while since I've watched it. But rewatching it with Ty, I was kind of like, I don't know why, but why do I have a feeling like he's not really truly after her at points?
Yeah. Like
But
there's like this slight distance between them both, right? Like maybe he's distancing himself from it.
yeah,
I
but
don't
in
know.
reality, he's still out for what he wants. Like that's the whole reality of it.
Yeah.
But like, you want me to tell you the other scene that's creepy to me is the first time you kind of see her old self
Hmm.
and how she like jumps from the balcony and just starts jumping around. That was it was really well done, but it kind of like freaked me out a little bit too. It's like, oh no, like, and I'm sitting there like, and at the end I was like, okay, how does this lady do all this? Like, but at the same time I'm thinking maybe now, okay, maybe she drugged her, maybe she was doing things to make her hallucinate the way she was doing. The one thing that always made me laugh with Ty too watching this is how many times when she woke up at the end of the movie
Hmm.
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god, like it's like, yeah, it kind of gives you that Lord of the Rings vibe. Like it's not done with the last ending; it's going to continue showing you multiple endings of the film. But I don't know. That's why I said this movie. Let's go into this, Pat. What were some moments that you actually did like in this film?
Yeah, I liked Rumi's role as the manager. I thought it was really great. Like I thought like the contrast between her and I keep wanting to say Mimi. Is it Mimi? That's his
Mima,
terrible.
Mima, something like
Mima,
that.
Mima. Close. Close. We're getting there. Um, I kind of enjoyed the deception that goes on between it, and it's not something that you see right away. I feel like I went back and was able to kind of skim through some more important parts or stuff that stood out to me. Uh, I really enjoyed the violent element to it, to everything. I mean, that whole I really enjoy that sequence of the guy going down into the parking garage. The blood splatter on the sign goes into the elevator. That whole thing. I don't know if it's him that goes in the elevator, right? Or someone gets killed in the elevator, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
It
he's the
The
is
one that's off.
director, right?
He's the one that's off. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
he was
or
the
is the
director's
assistant director,
assistant.
something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
because the director's off later on in the film.
yeah.
yeah, and you know what? And I know I've talked about it a lot when we do these anime movies, but I do think the artwork is pretty exceptional just with what they were trying to accomplish here. I think
Except the
uh
eyes.
huh?
Except the eyes.
And the lips, according to Brandon.
Oh, you even said it. Don't
Well,
even.
you pointed out first.
Well, and I with anime movies, do you think like in a lot and you guys are probably more used to or have a better opinion on this question, but especially Ty, but do is there different illustration styles for anime movies? Like do you see a little bit of a different approach illustration wise in certain anime compared to like a traditional anime, say like a or is it more of like a just a different artist or a different director of who's doing the actual movie?
I think I get what you're saying. I
Like,
think
is
it
there a
depends.
different way they do that? Is there a different way they do the animation? I guess. Do different directors do it differently, or does it just depend, I guess, on the artist? Because you know, obviously, different artists do different shit. So,
Yeah, I think it depends on
yeah,
the artist because like for example like studios you can tell which one is kind of like Ghibli, which one isn't. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But since this is like a really old movie, you can't really. It's not Ghibli. I can tell it's not Ghibli.
Yeah.
No, you can tell it's like a more kind of like a serious one. But besides me making fun of like the eyes and Brandon with the lips.
yeah. Well, just the
Um,
way I just noticed, like the objects, even the objects they draw, like it just seems so raw and real. Like, that whole part when they go into the tunnel, like they're in the back, she's in the back of a car. Just like everything, the seat, everything just seemed like so real. Like I got like kind of like Grand Theft Auto vibes off
Yeah,
of it. I
I
don't know
know
why.
a lot of
Like Grand
old
Theft Auto.
anime movies, they
Yeah,
they tend to make everything look real, which is what I like about some animated movie where like the first part of the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, right?
Right.
Besides making fun of the character, I paused it where she like it shows like her like neighborhood apartment. I was like, wow, look at this detail. This is really nice, you know. Like that's what I like about animated movies where like even when they do like food and stuff, they make it look so delicious. Even though it's just a regular egg. It's a regular egg, but they make it look so good, like the details and stuff. There was a scene in our apartment where we paused too, and it looked really nice.
Well, like I think you bring up a good point too, because let's talk about a room. Because the room actually over time you saw get messier and messier. And that's more the showing of the insanity that's going on in the room. And more the insanity that she's going through. Well, like even what was it? The other thing I brought up in the room was the computer. Made me feel really old.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah.
Computer came up. And all of a sudden I was like, bro, that's so damn old. Like
Yeah, then he was like, yep, that's old. Look at that login. Oh my god. Like, shut up, Brandon.
I was
They
waiting for
did.
the space
Yeah,
guy
man,
to
they
come
did a
in.
good job on that computer though.
Yeah, they did. Like I was thinking, I was waiting for the office space guys to come in to destroy the damn computer. Damn, it feels good to be a
I,
gang.
I swear, the whole time I was like, man, I feel like if Pat watches with us, he will hate he will just hate it.
I'm glad you know, I'm kind of wishing I did just because I probably would have had a different outlook on this fucking movie. I mean, that's just my opinion, and you know, it's probably like that with anything. Uh,
I
but
mean, if we have another movie, we can watch it all together and I could ruin that one.
yeah, I think you know what we should all do is I know we talked about doing Raid Rumble.
Yeah, yeah,
You guys
yeah,
down? We should do that.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's already a comedy in a way.
yeah. We'd all reminisce on the old wrestlers, like, yeah, man,
I would love,
DDT.
yeah, that'd be so fun.
Uh,
Um, no, I was gonna get back to I think this movie has a fantastic depiction of a psychological horror movie or
Yeah.
horror film. Um, and it's not like it's scary. It's like what we talk about. It's more psychological. It's more eerie, I feel like.
Suspenseful. Like it keeps you on.
Very- Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. I think it's a perfect explanation for how exploitation of, like younger pop stars or actors and actresses often goes too far. Worshipping idols never it never turns out well for anyone, right? We've seen it on documentaries. We've seen it just in general, right? Clips of celebrities actually being attacked by stalkers, stuff like that. And I think this movie was kind of that perfect depiction of that, what's really out there. I mean, because that's a real life issue, right? I mean, you see it, it's more often than you think it is, right? What's that movie, Obsession, with Beyonce? Have you seen
Yeah,
that?
I believe that's the one that is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, with Ali Larter.
Yes.
Um,
I
I
know
mean,
exactly what you're talking
there's all kind, and it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly like this story, but like I was alluding to earlier, it's just it's a nice storyline. Like it's a perfect storyline. There's so much you can build off of it. And I just think the way that they were able to twist a few things in this movie, obviously with the horror aspect in it, it was perfect. The way it was done was nice. Especially with how I guess the budget doesn't matter when you're doing a movie like this, but I should say for how short of a movie
Tour. Yeah.
for how short of a movie it is, I think they did a really, really good job with blending the story in well.
and I think that's a good point to bring because I think that was the other part I brought up to Ty. And I like the simplicity of the story, but there were moments where I felt like I wish we would have gotten that little more like let's talk about Psycho, and I've kind of adjusted to this point.
Okay.
Okay. In Psycho, we get that point where okay, Norman Bates still feels like he feels like something's wrong with him, but we don't know what's going on until that final scene through that film. I'm not, and again, I think it did it purpose because you did not once feel it was her manager that was really the one doing all the stuff she was doing. But I also felt like, okay, I kind of would have liked to seen why she was doing it because we don't get that. We don't get that hint of why is she doing all this. Like we get the hint a little bit that she was the one that didn't want her to go to this. But was that her motive? Is that why she was doing what she was doing? See, that to me was kind of like one of the first things that made me go, and this is again now coming from a critiquing point of view. That was kind of one of the only things I was a little disappointed about. Like, I wish we would have gotten something that would have instigated why she was doing what she was doing. I never felt like there was a clear point. Like, again, it could have been her going up to acting, it could have been her losing her innocence, right? It could have been her doing all this, but we don't know that. We don't know if she's had this obsession when she was a singer. That's
Mhm.
the whole thing. We don't know. So that's why I'm trying to understand a lot more. And it might take me another time to watch it, maybe two, but I don't. Will I watch it right away though? No, I'm not. I'm not watching it again. Ty made me hate this movie a little, but 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 I
I
think that
am not gonna watch this movie again.
but but I feel like going back to that question too of live action or not, I could have seen why this was supposed to be made into a live action film. Like it had the qualities of being made into a live action film. I just feel like they just lacked at certain points. And I kind of agree with Ty a little bit with the animation style. Like everybody has a different personality, everybody has a different thing, but it also fits the theme of the story.
Mhm.
Did this give it a grim feeling that you needed through the film? Yeah. Like I didn't mind the colors. I'll talk about the colors. Having that pale kind of color to it,
Mhm.
pale and grim, was actually really well done. Like that, I will give it props for. The scenery scenes, the room gave me a lot of vibes that way. but there was other points where it's like, okay, this is lacking a little bit. Okay, this is a little bit, out there. Like even seeing the one scene we did, okay, that was a little off too, but okay, I get the point why they were doing what they were doing and why she was doing it for her career. But that didn't, it just gave you that awkward unfillingness or unfilling there that it's like, I don't know about this.
Mhm.
What's
You,
going
do you think real quick when he brought up the whole live action part, do you think and I'm thinking and just theoretically, you got to think that the live action and animated version of this movie or story are going to be kind of two different things almost because
right?
there's certain ways that they're able to depict or analysis in animation form than they are live action. I also don't think that you're going to be able to do a live action movie for $21,000.
Oh,
Uh,
of
not
course not. You're not.
not even back then. Um, but I was also thinking like dialogue wise, if I'm doing this live action, I kind of I want to make my own script for it. I'm not gonna really go right off of what was written for the anime version. I mean, what do you think about that? I just think there's a and like even okay, so here let's talk about it since we're talking about it. But if you had to really put it out there, who would you have direct this if you were doing a live action? Think about the time too. Think about the time.
You're
The
talking now. Like if a director did it now.
well,
Jordan
no,
Peele.
let's talk about I mean, let's you can do it now. Or do it when this movie came out, which was late 90s.
You want me to tell you who I would automatically give it to? I got three directors I'm thinking.
Okay.
Jordan Peele, but that's always my cop out for it.
Hmm.
Okay. John Krasinski would be another interesting one to see how they would do with it.
Yeah.
We know him from The Office because he's Jim Halpert. We also know he does two horror films himself: Quiet Place 2, and Quiet Place Day 1. He has a good horror franchise underneath him. I think he would actually be good for that. But psychologically, I would say M. Night Shyamalan, but he has a hit and miss record. Uh,
I'm thinking the same thing.
he has a hit and miss record.
I just
Yeah.
want to see him like
Especially with anime, he doesn't have a good track record with it. So I think he should stay away from it.
Can I give you one? I was thinking. I think this might be a nice little fit into. Um, I was thinking David Fincher.
Yeah, that's a good one. I can see where you're coming from with that.
Especially with doing Seven, I just
Yeah.
think he's able to get that. I think he's able to bring out that I just darkness. I just, you know, uh
Like that.
doing I mean, especially around that time, he was doing Fight Club,
Yeah.
doing Seven. I mean, yeah. David Fincher, you could if you want to, and this is just me, and I feel like I'm just gonna sound so cliche on this, but Quentin Tarantino don't sound bad
Of
either.
course you would. You want me to tell you another good one here? Here's a good one for you. Ari Aster.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Ari
I like that.
Aster. Now I know Ty, you probably don't know the movies or the director's name, but you'll know two of his movies.
all right.
Hereditary is one of them,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
Midsummer is his other
Midsummer.
big one.
Okay.
You know what Midsummer? You remember that one or not really?
It's been a while.
It's the girl from
Florence Pugh's
Black
in it.
yeah Black Widow, or she plays Paige in the
Okay.
Wrestling with Your Family movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah.
like her
Yeah.
breakout role. I mean, she had done other stuff at that point, but I feel like that was a big movie for her.
I to be told that's who I would pitch. I heard people say maybe even like Guillermo del Toro, and I'm like, I don't see him doing that though.
Yeah.
He's too much action pack. Even with his horror, he's more adventure and still tries to tell a story. I
I
just
was thinking, I was thinking Michael Mann, but I think also like Michael Mann doesn't really do horror movies, or I just can't see him doing like a lot like where there's heavily violent. Like there's more action, but there's also a lot of subtle. Like he's. I'm thinking of Michael Mann for the cinematic shots because he's really good. Like think of Collateral, dude. Collateral's fucking amazing.
you
It's
want me
so
to
good.
you want me to tell you another one I thought, and he doesn't have no horror background, but his way of shooting I think would be great for this film. Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
that
It'd be slow as fuck, but yeah, sure.
he would get that creepy feeling. He gives you that grittiness, pale colors you
The
need.
pale colors, yeah. Like one thing that sticks out to me is either Million Dollar Baby or
Exactly.
Gran Torino. Gran Torino's got a lot of grim colors to it also.
$1 Million Baby is why I pitched it because when
Yeah.
you really look at the way he shoots that, I could see Mima really being like that, and I could see him taking on a role movie like this. But but nowadays, no, he's too old. He's getting older up there. I just don't see him doing that. If I had to go with now, Ari Aster or Jordan Peele would probably be my two. Like just looking at their track records in history. Who would you have play Mima is the question.
Uh,
That's another tough one.
oh,
Her
dude, who's that girl? Man, dude, she's a huge pop star. She was just in because maybe you can kind of keep the roots to this a little bit with it having the Japanese background, but or
what pop star?
huh?
What pop star?
She's the is it Lisa?
Oh,
Maybe?
Lisa, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, look at
Wow,
you going
Lisa.
into anime world, buddy.
Wow.
Was that not good? Was that
That's
terrible?
a good, yeah, she's
Lisa
very
is a
popular.
like Lisa
She's a
when
very
you really
popular
look,
idol, yeah.
yeah, when you
Right? No, I only know her from the White Lotus season, the latest one, the latest season 3, because they had her in, right?
I don't know that.
If it's
I don't,
well, no, if it's who I'm talking about though, right? Because she has like one. You're
well,
making me.
I only know her for her music if we're talking about the same one.
Yeah, it's got to be Lisa. I'll just put Lisa Popstar.
Well, you want me to tell you why we said that would be a good one? Because she's anime royalty when you really think about it.
Is she?
She pretty much all the big name theme songs you know from
Yeah,
it is from her.
yeah.
Demon Slayer, Sword Art Online. She has quite a bit underneath her.
Yeah.
She
I think she disappeared for a while, then she came back.
Yeah, she was actually at a con not too long ago too. For it was like a big, like it was like a concert she was
Bro,
doing.
she's only 28 years
What
old.
the hell? We didn't go?
No, it was at the Crunchyroll thing. We weren't gonna go.
Ah,
That was like when
expensive.
they were showcasing all the stuff. And that and she was at something else too. I can't
Who
remember.
do you have the who do you have as the stalker? Why am I wanting to go right to John Lithgow? I don't know why. Um,
No,
90s. I'm thinking 90s John Lithgow.
no, I would never give that to him.
No, not with her. It's just a weird combination.
I don't know
Um,
why I thought Adam Driver.
yeah,
They're not a big
he's
fan.
slender too. He's a little slender, has that build kind of.
He got that awkward personality.
You do Skarsgård.
Yeah, he'd be a good one too.
That's such a cop out choice
But
too.
he's not a bad cop out choice. He
It's
does
no, it's not. It's just I guess it's the cliche
Skarsgård tie
choice.
is Pennywise.
It's the easiest choice to make, right? Especially with the movies that he's done with The Crow. Um,
Doug. Oh, I was gonna say Doug.
I haven't seen that one.
I tried to watch the original. I couldn't. Brandon tried to get me to do it, and I was
Which
like,
one?
The
the
Crow.
original one, with Brandon Lee.
Oh
I
yeah,
just couldn't.
the Crow.
I couldn't get into it.
I like the original. It's still one of my favorites, but I don't know who you would have as a stalker. That's I'd say Adam Driver, but I feel like he's there kind of thing. But that's why I said like I don't know who you would have. Like that's a harder pick. Like who would you have as the manager, the one that you find out the twist? That's the other big one. Like those are the three.
Adele. No.
Adele.
Joking.
I've always wanted to be you.
I think Lady Gaga could do it. She seems like a heel.
No, let's not ever put Lady Gaga in a film ever again. After the horrible Joker 2, I never want to see her in a movie ever again in my life. I never want to see her ever again in my life like that.
I mean,
How
That
about
was
that one Asian chick from the Marvel one? What's
Lucy Liu.
the no the one with the rings in his hand? His friend.
Aquafina.
Yeah.
Aquafina.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see
Yeah.
her putting on a role like that.
Yeah. Because she I watched her other movie with the lottery ticket one, and that was pretty good.
That was a good one with her and
Yeah.
Tom in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, can we think? I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's American or any. Or I was thinking Jessica Chastain.
Okay.
Yeah,
She seems kind of scandalous, right?
yeah, I could see that. You want me
Yeah.
to tell you the other one I thought about? What's her face that plays Rose in Star Wars? I enjoy her as an actress. She's a good actress. Her name is Kelly Marie Tran. I actually think she could pull it off. She's younger, but she's 36. You have her and Lisa. I think that would be about the
Do you
close.
need a you right? You want more of an older role for that, right? For the
Yeah.
manager, you think?
Well, yeah, but even then, like you could get away with it because she's still. I wouldn't say she was in her 40s the way they drew her, but she was close to it. So even then, if she could pass. Like she's but that's why I said it's harder. That's why I said like those are like the three main roles you really have to cast. The rest of them are kind of like they're there.
Hmm.
Like those are like your big three roles. That's why I said like Lisa was a good pick, but how much acting experience does she have? Is the other question other than White Lotus. I don't think a
I
lot.
don't know. But she was pretty good in White Lotus. I mean, I don't know. She didn't have a whole lot of dialogue in it
You're
for me.
making me go watch White Lotus now. Thanks, Ty. Or thanks, Pat.
You should watch White Lotus. I don't think this was the best season. It was good, but it's different than the other two.
Well, yeah, isn't all the seasons different or supposed to be in a
Yeah,
different?
every season is different. It's in a different location too.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that the second season was good, which was in Italy.
Okay.
First season's in Hawaii, and then this last one's in Thailand.
That's what I said. Like I'm curious to see that, but like, but let's go into it. Were there things, and this will kind of end up the podcast here. Were there things that you guys did not like about this film, other than the eyes and my mouth issue there? What are some?
I just think there might have been like one or two moments that was could make people uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I don't have to say what they are, but you know what they are.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
Yeah,
think I know exactly what you're talking about. I think it went on a little too long.
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Like if they did the one, like the last scene they did with that, I think I would have been okay with it. Not have that first scene. Like
yeah,
that to me was like, okay, that did like I even told Ty, I almost told him to fast forward because I was like, okay, I don't need to see that. But the
I think,
rest of it,
like I said, it was just way too long.
yeah, that like if they, but that's why I said if they would have taken that first scene out, I think I would have been content with it. Like at that point, I wouldn't have felt that awkward feeling kind of thing. I agree. That's probably the only part I didn't like, other than like the way sometimes it just looked like lazy art.
yeah.
It just felt like it was just not animated right, and it did feel awkward at points. But again, like we said, this was not supposed to be a movie that was supposed to be made in anime. It was supposed to be made in live action, so I could see the rushness and all that into it. But still, it was still disturbing the way they do things, and it does give you that uneasy feeling throughout the film that makes you think, yeah, horror. Like the one thing that's still, and it's on our page for our horror animes that we talk about, because this is the one I pitched too, is that one with the, well, it was her agent or her manager, but when she puts the blood on her face,
Yeah, yeah.
that scene still, it's one of the scenes you think of this film.
I like the cover. I don't know if it's the cover to the movie or
You're talking the one with like the blue and it's her face kind
yeah,
of.
and she's like laying down kind of or whatever.
I have it right here.
Yeah, that'd be a dope poster to have. I was looking at that. It kept popping up.
You're
That's kind of
talking this one.
yep. That's pretty sick.
Yeah. The way they did, like I know there's another one too, where it's her looking into the fish tank
Hmm.
and it's her like that was good too. I didn't mind that. Gave me that paprika kind of feeling to it, but it's yeah. But that's why I said I know paprika came out later, but it's just the point that I think like that. That's why I said I think this is a great way to kind of go out on the podcast here with just ranking with our rankings. Pat, where are you ranking on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm not even going to say something. I was going to be like, what?
Yeah, I don't know I don't even know what you would say on this one.
I was going to say
He,
one to
he
ten,
told me already.
How many
but
stalkers?
or 1 to 10 eyes. How are you ranking?
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna
How
give
many
it.
meters apart from the eye do you rank this?
I need to watch this movie more, but I really did appreciate it. Like I said, I think it's perfectly paced. It's fun. I don't know if it's fun, but
Yeah, you might want to change your wording on that a little bit. It's
um,
fun.
uh,
It's exciting.
it's exciting stuff. What are you guys talking?
Riveting. It's exciting.
This is what dreams are made of. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and give it 6.6 eyes. I was like, what am I saying? 6.6 eyes. I think it's good. I don't think it's the best anime movie I've ever seen. I'm also new to the game, as you folks know. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I I want to watch it more because it's one that I can pick. You're definitely going to pick up more on it, and I think understands a little bit of that psychological aspect to it.
That's a good
Think
read.
I'm good on it. I understood it fully the first time.
Well,
Where are you ranking it on 1 to 10 eyes, Ty?
Um, 6.4 Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Train scene.
I forgot the part where that's my problem.
I'm the human spider.
No, you got the wrong name.
It's
Not my name.
not my name.
That's not my
Um,
name. That's not my name.
Oh yeah.
Look at you for 3 minutes here. You're going nowhere.
Well, for this movie, it was an hour and 21 minutes. But for this movie, rewatching it, if you would ask me when I watched it originally, I probably would have given it like a 7, 8. Now watching it, I probably would give it like a 5.9.
Man, why do I have the highest rating to this?
yeah, you said it was like almost a 7.
Like
Oh,
it
when we
was.
watched it.
I I enjoy the story. And
See, this is the funny part. You're the one who hyped up this movie
I did
throughout the podcast. You're like, oh yeah, Perfect Blue, hands on.
because it
15-year-old
well,
Brandon is the best horror anime movie.
Yeah,
let me
because of that,
let
I
me
give
go
this
in.
movie a 4.8. Fuck
let,
this movie.
let me get into this. Why I give it this ranking. The story, great story.
Great
I'm
story.
not knocking the story. I'm knocking the animation style. For me, it's not for me. I don't like the animation style. I felt like at points it was very lazy. It was very
It's
they kind
$51,000 budget. What the fuck do you
but
expect?
I'm just saying, like, even for this, like I enjoy the twist at the end. I enjoyed
Yeah,
everything. So it's not the story. It's
gotcha.
just the way they do some of the animations, some of just the it just that awkward feeling at certain points. It just didn't get me over that 6. And it is still a good movie. I do feel fans should watch this once. I'm not saying that. Don't watch it with your kids. That's all I'm going to tell you.
No, this is a good family night movie.
No, it's not.
Good family night movie, guys. Check
Uh,
it out. Get your
but
popcorn.
but I'm just saying, if it were just going on story alone, I'd probably give it like an 8, 9. But since we're talking about the animation as well, that's why it ranked so low. Like, and I always say it with anime, and I've talked to Ty about this. Gosh darn you. Like there were good shots. Like that scene right there with the 8 manager going after and chasing her the way she was doing. The city shots. The even the stalker at certain point had good scenes. But it just felt lackluster when it came to the crowd. It felt lackluster when there was just other scenes. Like even the soap opera scenes were just lackluster. It just didn't give you that feel like you're watching something anime. Like compared to the movies we've watched, Akira, which Akira came out beforehand. When we watched Ghibli films, when we watched Your Name, those you could see how much effort and how much love they put into these stories. And like we said, Perfect Blue was not meant to be an anime film. If it wasn't an anime film, it probably would have made it higher on my list on that ranking. But since the animation to me did feel a little lackluster, so I give it a 5.9.
Um, if you watch the movie with me, you'll love the animation.
I blame Ty for the low ranking.
I kind of feel weird having the highest ranking on this now. I feel like it doesn't mean shit because
I think that's my lowest ranking I've given a movie. But fans, let us know what your guys' ranking for this film is. What did you love about this film? What did you hate about this film? Do you think our rankings are wrong? Check us out, J4F Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can check us out on Spotify and YouTube for other great movie content. Remember, if you like this video and you want more of it, please hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit that bell notification so you never miss an episode. Also, follow us on Spotify for other great content and be notified when our new episodes come out. Thank you again, Ty, for joining us on this horror, suspense, but funny episode of J4F Podcast.
Very, very funny indeed.
You can check us out on Comic Talkers for other great comic book and anime content. Without further ado, I turn it over to Pat to take us out.
yeah, man. Thank you, Ty, as always. Thank you, B Dog, and thank you, everyone. And remember, we do it just for flicks.